Welcome to Extropy on Air, the podcast from Extropy Advisors, where we dive into the world of AI, digital transformation, and the future of business. Each episode will bring you perspective from leaders, innovators, and experts across industries, all focused on helping organizations and, more importantly, people thrive in a changing world. Let's get started. Welcome to Extropy on Air, the podcast where we dive into the technology, people, and partnerships shaping the digital future of the Office of the CFO. I'm your host today, Kevin Zirkle from Extropy Advisors, and today we're kicking off a brand new series that spotlights one of our strategic partners and how we're working together to create impact-driven digital transformation. I'm especially excited to launch this series with a partner whose capabilities and vision perfectly align with the outcomes we strive to deliver for our clients. And that's with Raindrop. And today, joining me is Ward Karson. Ward is the Chief Operating Officer at Raindrop. So Ward, certainly wanted to welcome you to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kevin. Great to be here. We're excited about this partnership and the potential we see in combining Raindrop's platform with Extropy's strategic expertise.
Awesome. Well, why don't we just go ahead and start there, Ward? For any of our listeners that really aren't familiar with Raindrop yet, can you maybe just give us a high-level overview of your platform, your vision, kind of how you guys are helping the modern CFO today?
Yeah, absolutely. So Raindrop's an intelligent spend management platform designed from the ground up to be modular, fast, intuitive. We really focus on 5 core areas. So contract lifecycle management, supplier management, strategic sourcing, e-procurement, and spend analytics. What sets us apart is our data-centric architecture, embedded AI, and modern user experience, which means faster adoption and obviously faster time to value.
Yeah, time to value is really important. And actually, that's really what made this partnership feel so natural for us. As you know, here at Extropy, we focus on transformation that really doesn't just check boxes. I mean, it has to work in the real world across distributed teams, legacy systems, varied maturity levels of clients. Raindrop's modularity really allows us to tailor the transformation based on where the client happens to be in their journey.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot of need to do a bunch of big rip and replace type projects. They're getting a little more frowned upon, we find in most of our client accounts. Ward, one thing that I've always admired about your team is how you've built Raindrop with the CFO in mind, and not just procurement professionals. I think too many platforms forget that the functions in the office of the CFO, they aren't just cost centers. It really is a strategic engine for that organization. What conversations are you guys having with CFOs directly right now?
Yeah, so that's absolutely a great question. So CFOs today are thinking much more like CIOs, basically. And what I mean when I say that is they want to understand data flows, risk exposure, scalability. One CFO I spoke with recently said, I'm not buying features, I'm buying outcomes, which actually stuck with me because the platform has to reflect that mindset, which Raindrop does. Focus less on just the features and more on how those features actually translate into measurable business value, keyword on the value.
Yeah, absolutely. We always say some of the best tools, they actually disappear in the workflow and just make better decisions happen faster. And that's a conversation that we're having across every client engagement. What can we do today that shortens our time to insight, not just our time to process? So let's talk a little bit about, from Raindrop's perspective, a little bit about flexibility. I mean, one of the things that really stood out to us was your ability to play well with others. Bassware, Coupa, Esker, a lot of the other players out in the market today. Can you share how Raindrop fits in without really disrupting what might already be in place at a client account?
So this is probably one of the most critical components and completely accurate. I'm really glad we're touching on this piece. So our platform is the foundation, and it includes this solution we have, and we would call it Rain Connect. Rain Connect allows us to easily connect to any legacy or third-party system. So for example, if a company is already using, you talked about Coupa, right, or others, so Coupa for e-procurement, or we might come in with our sourcing and our contract management solution, including RainSign, which is our integrated e-signature solution, to fill that specific gap. So the same applies with Bassware. We could absolutely layer on our supplier onboarding or our contract management with no conflict to Bassware. So we don't want to disrupt your process. We want to make it easier so you can get your work done your way.
That's really a good point. I do think that's a huge differentiator for you guys as well. I mean, too often We see CFOs hesitate because they think that change means complexity or it means completely starting over. And that's just not the case. I think this approach gives them the agility that they're looking for and gives them additional options. I think that's really important today.
Yeah, so you nailed it. I mean, it's also worth mentioning that we're seeing a big uptick in clients who are building hybrid ecosystems. So they might use Coupa for procurement, maybe they're using SAP for their ERP, maybe Bassware for AP automation, and then Raindrop is brought in for sourcing and CLM, contract lifecycle management. And that's okay. Like we're built for that world.
Yeah, that's a trend we see as well. I mean, that suite only mentality is really giving away to what we call a best fit stack. I
Yeah.
mean, it's becoming much more acceptable. Honestly, it's becoming, I think, even preferred. Companies really want to select based on specific needs rather than having to buy completely into an all or nothing type platform.
So exactly. And our API first architecture means integrations isn't the blocker anymore. So for instance, one client integrated our sourcing tool with Workday and a homegrown contract repository. It took less than a month. And now they have seamless source to contract visibility. They don't have to go ahead and overhaul either system. We knew that wasn't going to happen. So we know people have a lot going on. So we want to help them kind of tackle these challenges that are in front of them. And when they're ready to take that next step, look, we're here to help them when they're ready.
Sure. No, that's great. One thing I did want to get back to, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, was this AI. I mean, AI is everywhere. Raindrop's approach does feel a little bit more thoughtful to me, though. I mean, how are you guys leveraging AI in a way that's actually valuable for finance leaders?
So you said AI is everywhere, right? We don't see it as a buzzword. AI adds intelligent automation and rapid value. We let the AI illuminate so the humans could actually make the decisions. And frankly, that's really what it should do. So in Raindrop, AI drives intelligent contract extraction, contract risk analysis, supplier risk profiling, smart sourcing recommendations, or anomaly detection and spend patterns. These are just examples, but it's been embedded in Raindrop from day one. It's not some bolted on afterthought driven by market pressures. Okay, now the next thing is AI, right? No. So this really helps users get real time insights without needing to leave the workflow or bring in a data scientist.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know it is a little confusing still for some in the market out there. I do think that's exactly the kind of AI that really drives results though for companies. I mean, at Extropy, we see AI succeeding where it truly enhances human decision making.
Yeah.
It's not looking to completely replace it. I think that's an important point to make. Maybe without naming names, Ward, could you just share a quick story about a client who used Raindrop maybe in just one area and saw some really significant results within their companies?
Yes, one immediately comes to mind. We have one of our clients, accounts payable orgs, manage supplier data in Microsoft Dynamics 365. I think it's just D365 now. But every new onboarding or change request created another mismatch with intake forms and invoice records. So getting everyone to use the same supplier record is basically impossible. With Raindrop, the supplier master in D365 feeds straight into the onboarding workflow. So when an invoice is created and approved, Raindrop pushes it directly into D365 for payment. So the result is supplier IDs, names, and key data match everywhere. Decentralized teams, which a lot of companies have, can now onboard and pay suppliers without these manual shortcuts or duplicating work, frankly. Which over time, this integration sets a stage for full procure to pay automation without losing momentum on the day one value that was created. So after all, look, that's what we signed up for. And that's really what Raindrop rapidly delivered, so integrations like these lets teams spend less time reconciling systems between each other and really more time delivering on results.
Oh, that's a phenomenal story, and honestly, it's one that mirrors what a lot of our clients are actually experiencing. And I think the lesson that we try to tell each and every one of them, and as we move to the next one, is start modular. Let's prove value very quickly, and then let's expand. I think that's a great approach, and love the way Raindrop goes about it. So I think this is a wonderful way to start, Ward. Over the next few episodes, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into some of Raindrop's core modules. And we're
Mhm.
going to break it down and look at contract management and rain sign. We're going to look at supplier management and sourcing and e-procurement, analytics and visibility. Each
Mhm.
one, we're going to include some use cases, I would hope. We'll do some
Yeah.
differentiation, and of course we'll figure out how AI is really driving each one of these modules forward. We're truly aiming to help CFOs make smarter decisions, build more resilient finance organizations. So, Ward, wanted to thank you again for joining for this first episode here. Any final thoughts you wanted to leave our audience with today?
Just that transformation doesn't have to be disruptive. And I think there's this misnomer that it has to be. So with the right partner and the right tech, you can get faster results, lower risk, and build for the future. So, I mean, in my eyes, that's what Raindrop and Extropy are all about.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that's a great pause for us. So really to our listeners, if today's discussion resonated with you, whether you're wrestling with fragmented systems that are in place currently, where you have legacy tools, or you just want to move faster with less risk, this partnership with Raindrop is about finding a smarter way forward. So don't miss our next episode. We're going to dig deep into contract management and RainSign. And if you're enjoying this series, just leave us a review, follow us, share with your finance, procurement, or your transformation teams, or shoot, just share with an old family friend. This is Extropy on Air. I'm Kevin Zirkle. Thanks for listening. Always know that we're going to be here for you, and we're going to help you transform forward. So we'll see you real soon. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to Extropy on Air. We hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode, and connect with us at Extropy Advisors to continue the conversation on AI and digital transformation. Until next time, I'm Kevin Zirkle, and this has been Extropy on Air.